Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today, this lesson is going to focus on writing a written retell of Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type by Doreen Cronin, pictures by Betsy Lewin. And this is from our second grade Journeys textbook, lesson 11. So for this lesson, you will need a piece of paper and a pencil, because at the end of our review, you're going to challenge yourself and you're going to answer this question. What happens in the story? Write a retell. We're going to use our traffic signal colors. Green means go. So green is always start at the beginning of your story, and you're going to say first, and then we're going to slow down. Yellow means slow down. And you're going to say then and later, and then we're going to get to red and stop and say what happened at the end of the story. So last. So here is our learning target. I can write a retell of the story, Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type, using complete sentences. Success criteria. What does that mean? It means how will I know I'm successful at writing a retell of Click, Clack, Moo? Well, here are our steps to success. I will, number 1, say, match, and write the characters and setting. Number 2, say and match the lesson or moral of the story, what the characters learned. Number 3, put the retelling pictures in the correct sequence or order. And then say, match, and write the sentences to each picture, saying what happened first, later, next, and last. And then finally, check my writing using my writing checklist. So Click, Clack, Moo is fiction. What is fiction? Fiction. Fiction books are made up stories. Fiction is not real. It has illustrations, characters or people or animals in the story. It is pretend, and it has a setting where the story takes place. So the genre or type of literature of Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type is humorous fiction. What is humorous fiction? Humorous fiction is a story with funny characters or comical events to make the reader laugh. Humorous comes from the word humor, and if you're full of humor, you like jokes and you laugh. Characters. What are characters? Characters are the people, animals, or objects in a story. Setting. What is a setting? The setting is where the story takes place. Sequence. What is the sequence? Sequence is the order things happen in the story. And you're going to write some of these sequence words, such as first, what happened first, next, and last. Or first is the beginning, next might be the middle, and last is the end. So let's orally retell the story and say what happened out loud. Who are the characters, the main characters in the story? The main characters are Farmer Brown, the cows, and hens. Where does the story take place? The setting. The setting is a farm. The setting is a farm. So let's put our pictures in order. So here's first, then, later, and last. So first, what do the cows do first in the story? First, the cows type a note and ask for electric blankets. Farmer Brown can't believe it. He says no. So then, what do the cows do then? Then the cows go, then the cows go on strike and type 2 more notes. Farmer Brown is furious. So later what happens? Later, Farmer Brown types a note and demands milk and eggs. Duck takes the note to the cows. And last, what happens at the end of our story? Last, the cows gather for a meeting. Farmer Brown agrees to give them blankets for the typewriter. So in the end, Farmer Brown learned it's better to make a deal with the animals. All right, now it's the end of our review. It's time to challenge yourself. You will need a piece of paper and a pencil. So if you don't have your paper and pencil, push pause and get your paper and pencil. And when you're ready to join me, push play. All right, hopefully you've gotten your paper and pencil because this is the time where we're going to write a retell of the story. So we're going to answer the question, what happens in the story? Green means go, say what happened at the beginning first. Then we're going to slow down and say what happened in the middle, then and later. And then we're going to stop and say what happens at the end. But before you actually write your sentences, I want you to remind you to say each sentence out loud before you write it. I'm going to give you a sentence starter, and you can write that sentence starter, but you need to finish your thinking. So you need to say the complete sentence out loud before you write it. And here is a writing checklist to remind you what to do when you are writing sentences. You always use finger spaces between your words. Make sure that there's proper spacing between your words. You use punctuation at the end of each of your sentences, and sometimes you use commas. So make sure you do that. You use uppercase letters at the beginning of each of your sentences or capital letters, also for names of people and important places. And then when you come to a word you don't know how to spell, you sound out the unknown words. You write the sounds you hear. And then my favorite, you reread each of your sentences to make sure they sound correct or they make sense. All right, so think of these things as you are writing. So now it's time for you to write a retell and answer this question. What happens in the story? Write a retell. And we're going to start at the beginning or the start or the B for beginning. So you're going to write, look closely at each picture. First, the cows type. So say your sentence out loud, finish it, and then when you're ready to write it, push pause. And then when you're done writing your first green sentence, push play to rejoin the lesson. So first, the cows type. What do they type? Say your sentence out loud, push pause, write your sentence, and when you're done writing your green sentence, push play. Well, then we're going to slow down and go to the middle of the story, and we're going to use the sequence word then. Look closely at the picture. Then the cows go. What do they do? Then the cows go. So write that beginning part of your sentence, say the sentence out loud, push pause, write your full sentence, and when you're ready to join me, push play. All right, we're still at the middle of the story. Later, Duck takes Farmer Brown's. What does Duck take? Later, Duck takes Farmer Brown's. So say your sentence out loud, push pause, write this second yellow sentence, and when you're ready to join me, push play. Okay, now we're at the end of our retell or the finish line. So last, what happens last? Last, Farmer Brown agrees. Farmer Brown agrees. So push pause and say your sentence out loud. Last, Farmer Brown agrees. So say your sentence out loud, push pause, write your red sentence, and when you're finished writing that last sentence, push play. All right, just a reminder to check your work using our writing checklist. We use our finger spaces between our words. Did you do that? Did you add your punctuation, period, exclamation mark, question mark? Did you use uppercase letters at the beginning of each of your sentences? Did you sound out unknown words, words you didn't already know how to spell? And then my favorite, did you reread each of your sentences to make sure you didn't leave any words out and that they make sense? So if you need to push pause, make sure you check each of your sentences with this checklist. And after you're done correcting any work, push play. All right, at the top of your paper, it's time to reflect on our learning target. I can write a retell of the story Click, Clack, Moo, Cows That Type using complete sentences. So, would you give yourself a 4? I could teach this lesson. I wrote 4 complete sentences and I used my writing checklist for each of them. Or would you give yourself a 3? I could help others with this. I wrote 3 complete sentences and I used my writing checklist. Or would you give yourself a 2? I needed some help with this. I wrote 2 complete sentences and I sometimes used the writing checklist. Or 1, I needed a lot of help with this. I wrote 1 sentence and I did not use my writing checklist. How do you think you did? 4, 3, 2, or 1? Put your reflection on the top of your page. And then you can check your writing with mine. Here's my example. What happens in the story? Write a retell. So first, the cows type a note and ask for electric blankets. Farmer Brown says no. Then the cows go on strike and type 2 more notes. Farmer Brown is furious. Later, Duck takes Farmer Brown's note that demands milk and eggs to the cows. Last, Farmer Brown agrees to give the cows blankets in exchange for the typewriter. All right, boys and girls, we are finished writing our retell. Thank you for writing with me today. Have a great day.